Welcome back to Tackling the World. Today we are in Oaxaca, Mexico, and we are going to do some mezcal tasting and learn all about mezcal. Today we're with Andrea. She is our tour guide, but most importantly, our designated driver. First, we're gonna start off with some delicious breakfast. Okay, what do you have here?
This cheese is delicious. I'm pretty sure it's fried. Yeah.
Fried cheese and just covered in salsa.
Mm-hmm. And beans.
And beans. Dang. And I got.
It's got such a nice
chicharrón.
smokiness.
Let me try this. Oh, yum. Yum. Chicharrón. Frijoles. Oh, dang, look at this.
Very nice.
I see you guys really suffer for your art.
Somebody's got to do it.
Yeah.
Forgot to put an avocado in there.
Oh, that's really good. Our avocados really suck this year in the U.S.
A friend of mine in the U.S. was like, "Oh, now I don't want to buy avocados because of the narco conflict." And I was like, "Yeah, that is right now. That is like it's getting to be bigger than drugs in Mexico. It's like who controls our avocado trade?
The green gold."
Yeah, and luckily in Oaxaca, most of them are local. Here, because of the communal land rights, you can't just come into a community. Like if you're not from there, you can't own land there.
So this is where the magical food is made.
So the white part is the calcium hydroxide, the same mineral that you use for the mixolization process.
Yeah.
And it makes the clay non-stiff. And we're also going to see a lot today at the garden because it's antibacterial and antifungal.
Oh my gosh, look at this.
Oh, here, this is the same soup you guys had made yesterday. And then
Salsa.
they like do a different mole every day.
John, that's what I had.
So this is Doña Anastasia. She's the sous chef. Doña Yolanda is the head chef and the owner.
Yeah.
And so she's your gal. And every day there's like a different specialty. So today the specialty is pig feet in black beans.
Oh. All right, well we had a delicious breakfast. Now we're off to go see the mezcal. See?
Tea.
Vamos.
This agave over here, this is the espadín. It's going to be your most common agave for mezcal production, and it takes about 6 to 10 years to grow. So when we tasted mezcal the other day, that's the one we started with because it's like the least complex in flavor.
Yeah.
And if you order a mezcal cocktail, if you order a house mezcal, that's going to be what they're using because it's sort of like the best bang for your buck. So it only takes 6 to 10 years to grow. And one heart of that could give you 5 liters, where some of the wild plants we're going to try today, like the toala, they need 10 years to grow. You have to harvest them from the side of the cliff. They only grow in the wild. It might need 5 or 6 plants just to get 1 liter. And when you cut off the leaves, a liquid comes out that gives you a rash. And we have the chance to try about 50 different mezcals today, so that's why I'm the designated driver.
50 different. That's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. And supposedly mezcal doesn't give you a hangover, right? Right. So if it's made in the way that we're going to see today, it's only made from cooked agaves and water. There's no added chemicals, no added sugar. So if you only drink mezcal and water, you might wake up drunk, but you won't have a hangover. The thing is, in Oaxaca, every party you go to, they give you a mezcal and a coronita, mezcal and a little beer. And I don't recommend it, not that I'm speaking from experience, but mezcal is very jealous. So if you're gonna drink mezcal, just drink mezcal. If you're gonna drink beer, just drink beer.
Hola a todos, mi nombre es Edgar Ángeles Carreño. Actualmente soy el maestro palenquero de Real Minero. Ahorita se encuentran en el área de Proyecto LAM, es un sendero interpretativo de agaves.
And I like to think of it sort of as the Agave Zoo, because they brought agaves from all over Oaxaca and all over Mexico so we can see them in the same place. The agaves flower one time in their life and then that's it. So you can either make mezcal from it or either leave it for seeds, but either way it's gonna die.
Yeah.
So if we look at these guys in front of us, that stalk in Spanish it's called quiote. If you wanted to make mezcal from it, you have to wait till the end the plant's life cycle, 12 to 15 years, and then you have about a 3-week window of opportunity when you can harvest that agave. Here at Project Lamb, their goal is to save seeds. So what we're seeing here is they're leaving the agaves to flower.
Yeah.
And if you look up close up there, you can see a bunch of bees and beetles sort of buzzing around up there, and they're actually starting the pollination process. So from the time the stalk comes out to you get a seed pod is about a 9-month process. And this one is hyper native to this town only. This one's name is hilarious. It's called tripon. Tripon means your tripe is hanging out, so it means you have a bread belly or a beer belly. So when they cut off the leaves, it has like a little bulge to it. So this one, they're not sure why, and this is part of the study that they're doing here at Project Lamb. As soon as the flower comes out, all the flowers drop down, and in its place it grows little clones. So they've never been able to get a seed from it, making it native to this town only, because the seeds haven't been able to blow in the wind to go to other areas.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah. And then probably the most important and emblematic agave in all of Oaxaca is the Kabbalah. So this one, this is as big as it gets. If you had wanted to make mezcal from it, you'd cut the stalk here, and the heart would have been about this big. So this is the one I was saying, when it grows on the side of the cliff, you cut it, the leaves give you a rash. You need like 5 to 10 plants just to get 1 liter, and you have to wait 10 to 12 years. So when you think about plants like this, you can kind of understand why brands much prefer just using espadín, because it grows quick, gives you a lot of mezcal, you don't get a rash, etc., etc. My personal favorite, we'll see it around the corner, is the one that takes 35 years to grow. And in this town, they don't really use it for mezcal because you need so much plants, gives you a rash, you have to harvest from the wild, you have to wait 35 years. And so here they mostly use it for religious purposes. When the stalk grows, it grows almost like 20 feet or so, like even taller than this one. And it has really, really fragrant yellow flowers. And traditionally they use that to adorn the church walkway during Easter. But if you cut it after it flowers, then you can't use mezcal from it. And if you cut it before you get the seeds, then you can't use it for seeds. So it's truly like a very once in a lifetime flower. It's only gonna last for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So part of Project Lamb is not only reproducing agaves for their future use for mezcal, but also reproducing agaves for the community. So they've taken it upon themselves to harvest the seeds, plant them in the greenhouse, and replant them in the fields for people later down the road. Remember I was telling you we're gonna see the calcium hydroxide? This is a mixture, ese es de cal y ceniza?
Chase.
This is ash and calcium hydroxide, and this is used to cure the plant from a beetle that got in. So the beetle, they don't want it to get into the heart of the plant, but as long as it just attacked the leaves, they were able to get it out and then seal it. So here they only use natural and organic methods. They've done a lot of trial and error, learning from different farmers, but also from different visiting scientists. So the calcium hydroxide, it's antifungal and antibacterial. So besides being super important in the tortilla making process, you're gonna see it all over this garden. This is a beetle called the picudo. It's like this big and has a little hooked nose to it. And they love the sugar in the agave, so they typically wait till the end of the life cycle. Like you waited 30 years for this, and in the last month of its life, you get a beetle infection. You're gonna see on their labels are sort of the best case scenario. They're even signed by Edgar, and they'll tell you exactly what percentage is of each agave. But back in the day, it'd just be like, this one's ready, we're ready to make a batch.
Put it, kind of just mix it together.
El tema ahorita lo que va a pasar es que muchas generaciones pues no van a conocer los agaves porque se están acabando y muchas especies no se están reproduciendo, o más bien no hay el conocimiento, porque la única forma de que se podía conocer es por familia. O sea, mi papá nos los mostraba, decía, este es coyote, este es tobalá, pero actualmente pues el tema de los palenqueros es que nada más se quedan en el palenque, pero ya no van a campo. Entonces si no vas a campo ya no entiendes o no aprendes sobre las especies, sobre el campo, pues, sobre cómo se cultiva. Entonces va a cambiar totalmente, y si no se cuida esa parte, pues los jóvenes ni los van a conocer. O sea,
and they're actually also growing some trees for reforestation, which is pretty cool.
So about 3, 4 a.m., him and some of his team come and they put these big logs. So again, the guamuche, which we saw at breakfast, and mesquite, and they put it up to that first ring there. And then they're gonna light it on fire. Then they're gonna let it heat up and start to burn down to coals for about 4 or 5 hours before they put these volcanic rocks on top. So these are really porous. And then they stack these on top to the second ring here, and it creates a little mound. They get over 1,000 degrees Celsius. So here we're really cooking with the heat of the rocks and the coals. When you put the agaves in the oven, there's no flame. So Edgar, because he's the maestro palenquero, or the master mezcal producer, he's gonna be the one to use his senses. He's looking at the time, but he's also looking for a uniform red heat with the rocks, the rojo vivo, no? And for there to be no flames. And that's when you know it's time to put the agaves into the oven. So he estimates it's 1,000 degrees Celsius, but they've never measured it. So it could be hotter than that. Then they put a layer of mashed agave from the last production. We'll see that at the end of the process, or you can see it over here. This is leftover fiber from the distillation process. They put an insulating layer of it on top of the hot rock so that when they put the raw agaves on, they don't burn right away. About one guy will put in 1 ton of agaves in the oven. So 5 guys, each guy is putting 1 ton in. They'll climb to the top of the mound, they stick a giant machete in the top, they see if it comes out juicy, because if the top one is cooked, that means the bottom one is cooked. And then they add water to begin the cooling process. And on day 5, they uncover the oven and they lay the agaves out to cool. Why the wood is so important is like, see these these logs, they just like came out whole at the end. So you need them to stay hot for those 5 days without any oxygen getting back into the oven, right? And then they can use this for charcoal for cooking. So there's like no waste to the process. So what he told me is loose knees, straight back, and then you need to bring it up to hasta los ojos, up to eye level, for 5 to 14 hours, depending on how tough the agave is. So the Garwinskis are like tree trunks.
Soft knees. They bend your knees.
They are bent. You can see in my dress. It's pretty heavy, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty heavy.
I don't think I could do that for 5 minutes.
Oh my gosh, yeah, this is good.
You can.
Pero este es más pesado, este pesa más.
This one is heavier.
Oh yeah, that's a good 20 pounds.
According to how tall they are and how they want it.
Right now we move on to the fun part, which is the tasting. And he's asking us if we want to try all of them, which is about 15 different flavors, bottles.
It's too many. I'm really sleepy from breakfast. It was put me in a food coma.
It's also hot out.
So we're gonna start with their family house blend.
52%, 52.9.
Yeah.
Oh, that's strong.
And then you're gonna start with largo on its own, which is a wild plant that takes 14 years to grow. In Oaxaca, you'll often go to a baptism and you'll be getting mezcal out of an old Coke bottle, or even worse, it's gonna be an old tequila bottle. So you think you're drinking a shitty tequila, but it could be like the best homemade mezcal in the world. So the first 3 tests you wanna do, you wanna look at the color and see if it's clear. So in Oaxaca, it's rare to find mezcals aged in wood because we're looking to preserve the flavor and aroma of the plant. So if you put it in wood, it's really only gonna taste like wood. And whiskeys, the grains are very simple in flavor, and that's often why we put them in wood, to enhance the flavor. But these plants take minimum 6 years and up to 35 years to grow. So that's really what we want to be tasting. The second test you want to do is you're going to shake your bottle and you see these bubbles or pearls. So any spirit, be it mezcal, tequila, whiskey, rum, will make these medium-sized bubbles that last between 45 and 55% alcohol. So those are the first 2 things you want to do when you have no idea what it is. The third thing you want to do is stick your finger in a mezcal, and we're going to rub it on our hands. To me, it should remind you of the cooked agave. So when we walked in and we smelled those fermentation tanks, because the only ingredients are cooked agave and water, first of all, it doesn't smell that sweet. Second of all, it smells to me like a cooked sweet potato. And the third thing is it doesn't smell like alcohol. So if you do this and it doesn't smell at all, they added a ton of water to it. If you do this, it smells like a cheap vodka. It's got chemicals in the fermentation. You do this, it smells super sweet, like a syrup. They added sugar to it. So these are the 2 tests you want to do: the bubbles and smell your hands. That's the most important. Then, if you have an amazing brand like Real Minero, they're gonna want to tell you how amazing the brand is. So here, if you're in a shop or you get to try it in a bar, you're gonna want to look at the label. So we've got the Maestro Palenquero, Edgar Angeles Carreño, it's mountains, how they fermented it in wooden tanks using well water. It was mashed by hand with a wooden mallet. Always recommend the first sip. Take a very small sip. You're gonna rinse your mouth with the mezcal, swallow, and then between one mezcal and the next, you always want to have a sip of water. Okay? The dangerous part about doing this with Edgar, sometimes he'll just be working at the palenque and we'll get here, and then he'll start pulling stuff off the shelves, which is always cool. It's fun, but
Yeah.
So is mezcal kind of like other alcohols where you can pair it well, or does it just pair well with whole food?
well, I would say in Oaxaca we tend to pair it with things that are what they call heavy, like moles or barbacoa. So when you go to like Tlaqueluda at the market, where you guys went to, did you eat barbacoa while you were there?
No.
Okay, so that's the traditional thing is goat barbecue, and they say it's a hot food. It's kind of like Ayurvedic medicine. Like they believe some are like cold and some are hot. So ginger is a hot food, radishes are a hot food because they have that like spice to them. And goat they believe is a hot food. So if you don't have a mezcal before and preferably after you eat goat, you need to warm up your stomach before you eat the goat, and then you need one for digestion after. They believe you're gonna have a terrible stomach ache if you eat goat without mezcal. And those are sort of the traditional party foods in Oaxaca. So it makes sense. It's like they always serve mezcal so you can digest.
Bottoms up.
No bottoms up. You kiss it.
I know, I am. It's just a figure of speech. Oh, I gave her a little bit.
Sí me dio un poquito.
Ok, ¿o quieres más?
Sí. But yeah, he just gave us one of the barrels. He just poured us one from that middle one, and that's why he just gave to Jocelyn.
Andrea did say it's dangerous to drink with
Yeah.
it. He starts cracking. I'm not even
Just
done
cracking
yet.
all of them. That is delicious.
So you can only
Kind
do
of like a
this
raisin.
2 times a year.
Oh yeah.
And I'm guessing they don't sell this anywhere. It's just like when you
No.
come here.
Yeah.
This is fruit that has been distilled along with the mezcal, and it tastes amazing.
That is really good.
He's gonna get another one up for us. She's from Jalisco. So this is Tequilana, the blue agave, but made in the style of a mezcal. So see how the bubbles are even when he serves it? Like
Yeah.
in Oaxaca, they won't drink it if they don't see the bubbles.
Oh.
And when he's distilling,
gracias.
that's what
look at
he's
the bubbles.
looking for.
Hey guys, well we finished the first mezcal tour. I did buy a bottle the one that I really liked, and now we're at the next one. Probably tried about 10 different mezcals from that first one, and this here smells so good. Oh, and they're doing something right now. There's some action happening. Let's see what's going on. Smells so good.
So good. They've been doing it for 3 days and 2 nights.
Oh jeez.
So they have to keep the flames really low. So it's
Yeah.
mostly cold.
Yeah.
So that's why I have to be looking at it all the time.
Oh, and the cold water's going in on top.
Look,
Distilling. Oh yeah.
This is Don
Buenas
Felix,
tardes.
Taku,
Buenas tardes.
Taku.
Jocelyn.
Buenas tardes.
So smell this. This is ¿qué están fermentando aquí?
Ooh.
It's espadín. But put your nose in there. It's a very acidic
yeah.
smelling, right?
Yeah.
So he says this is almost ready to distill. So this has water in it. You can see where these holes are. This is where the air was coming out once they added water.
What's the stick for?
So everything goes well. It's a cross.
Oh, it's just.
If there's no fruit flies, it means there's a chemical in it. So we don't really see any bubbles anymore. If you taste it, it's really pretty acidic. ¿Ese es espadín también?
Oh yeah. It's acidic.
It's like a yummy vinegar.
Yeah.
I like that.
So this is the first distillation. You're not gonna die if you try it, but it just really doesn't have a great flavor yet. No.
No, porque tiene que refinarse
Yeah,
para que
it's
se
water.
salga todo.
So the second one, you're boiling off more water as well, besides other like alcohols that you don't want to drink. So this is the end of the tank they were working on before, which I'll show you over here. So now, once they take all the mash out of these, one by one, like we just saw him doing, they'll start filling up with the second distillation. And you just serve as much or as little as you want.
Okay.
But this is what I'm saying, like this sensory experience of sticking your face in a mezcal is like, you're never gonna have that in the States. Like,
Yeah.
you have to go to much or as little as you want.
Nice.
Ay, qué rico huele.
That's different, hey?
That's like a very lingering taste.
Yeah. What an experience, hey? Just getting mezcal straight out of these big bottles. Dang. These are some strong stuff. I don't even know how strong these are. They don't even have the labels on them, so. Yeah, he's ready for me to get the next one already. I do like that first one. I think even more. This one is good too, but strong. This one tastes really strong.
Ooh, it's hot in here.
It's hot in here.
Oh, this is like a little water bottle.
Yeah, drink it. Drink up. I did that one time when I was a kid. I think I was probably 6 or 7, and we're on vacation with my family. And I went into like a hotel room. It was like super hot. I think this was in Bali, and super hot. Ran into the hotel room, cracked open a bottle, and I just chugged it two or three gulps. And I was like, "Oh, what is this?" And then my dad was like, "That's not water. That's alcohol." And I don't remember the rest, but got a couple bottles of mezcal. This one is made using corn, and I really love the smell of it. It smells so good. So we got that one, and we got this one. Pechuga de, how do you say that? De pestate. Pechuga de pestate. Ooh, that one is really good. I mean, they were all so flavorful, and just the aroma of each one was so unique. It was hard to choose which one, and he kept offering up to the next one, the next one, the next one. Like, okay, give it to me, and then they were all so unique. So
I didn't get to try this one.
Jocelyn got busy. She found some kittens, so she
Disappeared for a while. I forgot about Taco.
Yeah. And I was just here sipping, trying more mezcal.
Andrea was like, Taco doesn't know how to speak Spanish. We should probably go back to him. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot.
Oh yeah, I forgot about it. All right, guys, it's lunchtime. Yeah, now I'm hungry. I'm starving now.
Like a
After I've had like
dinner.
20 at least 20 different types of mezcal, and feeling good still. Supposedly, mezcal doesn't give you a hangover as long as it's like a good quality. So I'm just trying to test the theory. It's pretty spicy.
So this is a sample of the different dishes she has today. Or I would recommend, especially if you like multiple sauces, getting her enchiladas. So they're really thin tortillas like this, folded over, either filled with cheese or chicken, and then bathed in the sauce, and then she put onion, parsley, and cheese on top. This is only from this town. So they're super, super thin corn tortillas. They call them cocidas. You won't find those anywhere else, even in Oaxaca.
This cheese is so good. Is it just steamed in the banana leaf, or?
She puts it on a grill.
Some really good tomatillos. You can just tell that they're so much sweeter and a little more sour than ours.
Ooh,
I regret not
Crunchy.
being hungrier.
it's crunchy.
Yeah, it's very crunchy. It's like a chilaquila meets an enchilada.
Oh. Wow. The salsa is like, it has a lot of like sourness too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. You can tell the tomatillo is like a different quality. That's super cool.
All right, guys, we are back in our hotel, and I am super stuffed. Honestly, I was still full from breakfast because that was such a heavy breakfast, and normally I eat pretty light for breakfast, but it was delicious. And one last thing that we had at the market was tejate, which is a drink from here that is pretty heavy, so it kind of just adds to my fullness. This actually wasn't the first tour that we did with Andrea. We actually met because we signed up for the mushroom tour, which was super cool. And I highly, highly recommend booking a tour through Mezcouting because they are all about promoting rural and sustainable tourism. And they actually give back quite a bit to the community. And of course, they are hiring locally and sourcing locally. So you guys could check them out. We'll link them down below. And thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys next time.